There is a specific, sharp texture to silence. You know the feeling intimately. You sent a message, perhaps hours ago, perhaps days ago. You see the online status, you see the activity, but the response never comes. In the vacuum of that silence, your mind begins to construct a torture chamber. You wonder what you did wrong. You wonder who she is with. You feel a rising heat in your chest, a mixture of humiliation and anger. The modern world tells you that the solution to this pain is to play a game. It tells you to wait twice as long to reply, to post a photo to make her jealous, to devise a strategy to bruise her ego so she comes running back. But we are not here today to discuss children's games. We are here to dismantle the very mechanism that allows her silence to hurt you in the first place. If you are watching this, it is likely because you feel a loss of power. You feel that by ignoring you, she has taken something from you, but the ancient Stoics would tell you that she has taken nothing. You have voluntarily surrendered your peace. The premise of this discussion is not how to manipulate a woman into giving you attention. It is a far more dangerous and transformative proposition. We are going to explore how to reach a state of internal fortitude where her silence is not a punishment, but a gift. We are going to look at why you crave the validation of someone who does not value you, and we are going to burn that craving to the ground. This is not about destroying her ego. It is about destroying the weak, needy part of your own ego that begs for scraps. Welcome to the fortress of silence. To understand why being ignored cuts so deep, we must first look at the biological imperative. For thousands of years, social exclusion meant death. If the tribe ignored you, you starved. Your brain is hardwired to view silence as a threat to your survival. When a woman you desire withdraws her attention, your amygdala, the lizard brain, sounds an alarm. This is why you feel that physical ache in your chest. It is a primal fear of abandonment. However, you are no longer a primitive man on the savannah. You are a rational being in the modern world. The first step in the Stoic response is to separate the biological signal from the objective reality. The objective reality is simply that pixels on a screen have not appeared. That is all. The suffering you feel is not caused by the silence. It is caused by your judgment of the silence. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, wrote to himself that if you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now. Think about the power of that perspective. When you are ignored, you assign a meaning to it. You tell yourself, I am not good enough, or I am being disrespected. These are judgments, not facts. She might be busy, she might be overwhelmed, she might be uninterested, or she might indeed be playing a game. The Stoic does not waste energy guessing the intent of others. The Stoic looks inward and asks, why does my tranquility depend on the whim of another person? This is the core diagnosis. You are hurt because you have outsourced your self-worth to a variable you cannot control. This brings us to the foundational pillar of Stoicism, which is the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, the slave-turned-philosopher, taught that some things are up to us and some things are not up to us. Up to us are our opinions, our impulses, our desires, and our own character. Not up to us are our bodies, our possessions, our reputations, and the actions of others. When a woman ignores you, her action falls squarely into the category of things not up to us. By obsessing over why she is doing it or how to force her to stop, you are waging a war against reality. You are trying to control the uncontrollable. This is the definition of madness, and it is the source of all your anxiety. When you try to manipulate her into responding by using reverse psychology or toxicity, you are still operating from a place of slavery. You are still dancing to her tune. You are reacting. The Stoic does not react. The Stoic acts. And in this specific scenario, the most powerful action is inaction. This is not the passive inaction of a coward who is afraid to speak, but the active, disciplined inaction of a man who refuses to be moved by trivialities. When you realize that you cannot control her interest level, you stop trying to pry open a closed door. You accept the silence not with bitterness, but with a shrug. This is what we call amor fati, a love of fate. If fate dictates that she ignores you, you do not just bear it, you accept it as exactly what is supposed to happen. Consider the energy you spend checking your phone. Consider the mental bandwidth consumed by drafting and deleting texts. Now, imagine if that energy were reclaimed. The Stoic approaches relationships with a policy of preferred indifferences. It means that while having a companion is preferable, it is not essential to your happiness or your virtue. You must reach a point where her attention is like a warm day. Nice to have, but you are perfectly capable of functioning in the cold. When you anchor your happiness in her response, you are building your house on sand. The moment the tide comes in, the moment she pulls back, your house collapses. We are here to build on the rock of your own character. The irony, which is often cited in dating advice but rarely understood philosophically, is that this detachment is incredibly attractive, but you cannot fake it. You cannot pretend to be stoic while secretly checking her social media every 10 minutes. Women are highly intuitive. They can smell the stench of neediness from miles away. True indifference comes from a genuine realignment of your priorities. It comes from realizing that your time is a non-renewable resource. Every minute you spend anguishing over a woman who ignores you is a minute you steal from your purpose, your health, and your legacy. The Stoic guards his time more jealously than his money, for money can be earned back, but time cannot. Let us dig deeper into the concept of value. Why do you feel lowered when she ignores you? It is because you are using her attention as a mirror to see your own value. If she looks at you with adoration, you feel like a king. If she looks away, you feel like a beggar. This is a fragile existence. You must shatter that mirror. You must become the source of your own valuation. In Stoicism, a man's worth is determined by his virtue, his wisdom, his courage, his justice, and his temperance. Does being left on read reduce your wisdom? Does it diminish your courage? Does it make you unjust? No. Therefore, it does not harm you. When you are ignored, the temptation is to destroy her ego, to level the playing field. You want to hurt her because you are hurt. This is the path of the weak. Seneca warned us that anger is a temporary madness. To lash out, to send the angry double text, to try to make her jealous, is to admit that she has conquered you. It is an admission that she holds the remote control to your emotions, and she is pressing the buttons. The highest form of revenge, according to Marcus Aurelius, is not to be like your enemy. If she is being petty, you be magnanimous. If she is playing games, you be direct. If she is silent, you be focused. You destroy the dynamic not by fighting it, but by rising above it. This requires a fundamental shift in how you view the transaction of dating. Many men view dating as a pursuit where they must win the woman. When you try to win something, you place it on a pedestal. You look up to it. When she ignores you, she is signaling that she does not want to be won by you. The non-Stoic response is to try harder. The Stoic response is to evaluate the data. The data says, this person does not value my time. A man who values himself does not tolerate low interest. He does not get angry at it. He simply disqualifies the candidate. It is a business decision, not an emotional crisis. You are the CEO of your life. If a potential partner is unreliable and unresponsive, you do not burn down the building. You simply do not hire them. We must also confront the concept of the scarcity mindset. You obsess over this one woman because you fear there will be no others like her. You fear that if you let this one go, you will be alone. This fear drives the desperation that leads to checking your phone incessantly. Stoicism teaches us to look at the vastness of the world. Nature is abundant. There are millions of people. To fixate on one person who ignores you is to lose perspective of the whole. It is an irrational narrowing of your world. When you widen your gaze, the silence of one person becomes insignificant. It becomes a drop of water in the ocean. So how do you practically apply this? What is the behavior of the Stoic when faced with silence? The answer is nothing. You do absolutely nothing directed at her. You do not block her in a fit of rage. You do not post sad quotes on your story. You do not send a just checking in text. You let the silence sit. You let it expand. You become comfortable in the void. This silence is not a tactic to get her back. It is a boundary you are setting for yourself. You are drawing a line in the sand that says, I only engage with those who engage with me with respect and enthusiasm. During this period of silence, you must engage in what the Stoics called turning the obstacle upside down. The obstacle is that you are being ignored. The opportunity is that you suddenly have free time and energy. Use it. This is the time to double down on your mission. If you do not have a mission, that is the root of your problem, not the woman. A man with a consuming purpose does not have the time to sit and wonder why he hasn't received a text. His phone is a tool for his work, not a slot machine for validation. When you redirect that anxious energy into your body, your business, or your mind, you are transmuting poison into fuel. This is where the ego destruction mentioned in the original title of this topic actually happens, but it happens to her perception of you as a byproduct of your growth. When a woman ignores a man, she expects a reaction. She expects him to chase or to get angry. These are both forms of validation for her. They prove she is the prize. When you do neither, when you simply withdraw your attention and place it on your own excellence, you break the script. You become an anomaly. You signal that your self-respect is stronger than your desire for her. This is incredibly destabilizing to someone who is used to being chased. But remember, you are not doing it for that effect. You are doing it because it is the only rational way to live. You must also prepare for the return. Often, when you genuinely stop caring and move on, the person who ignored you will reach out. They will sense the shift in the dynamic. A Stoic is prepared for this. You do not meet their return with resentment, nor with immediate availability. You meet it with the same measured calm you applied to their silence. You do not jump when they say jump. You evaluate if re-engaging aligns with your principles. You have learned to live without them, therefore you are no longer a hostage to their attention. You have regained your sovereignty. As we draw this to a close, understand that the goal of the Stoic life is apatheia. This does not mean apathy in the modern sense of laziness or lack of caring. It means equanimity. It means a mind that is composed, steady, and impossible to disturb. The woman who ignores you is offering you a training ground to practice this virtue. She is your sparring partner. Every hour she doesn't reply is an hour you get to practice self-sufficiency. Every time you resist the urge to double text, you are doing a rep in the gym of character. You are becoming stronger. Ultimately, the way you act when a woman ignores you is a reflection of how you view yourself. If you view yourself as incomplete without her, you will act like a beggar. If you view yourself as a complete, rational, and virtuous man, you will act like a king. You will not beg for attention. You will not trade your dignity for a reply. You will understand that your value is intrinsic, generated from within, and immutable. So, let the phone stay silent. Let the screen stay dark. In that darkness, you will find something far more valuable than a text message. You will find yourself. You will find the man who does not need to play games to feel powerful. You will find the man who is the master of his own soul. That is the only victory that matters. Walk away from the table where respect is no longer being served and do not look back. Not in anger, but in peace.